You reach a point you once imagined would feel different. You earn more now, more than you used to, more than you ever expected at one time. The struggle that once consumed your thoughts is technically over. You don't worry the same way you did before. You can cover your bills. You can afford things that once felt out of reach. And yet, something feels off. Not dramatically wrong, just quietly unsettled. You still feel a slight tightening in your chest when money comes up. You still feel behind, even though you're ahead of where you were. You still hesitate before spending, but also feel pressure to keep up. It's a strange contradiction, earning more, but never feeling fully comfortable. You don't feel broke, but you don't feel secure either. And what makes it more confusing is that this was supposed to be the moment where things clicked. This was supposed to be the phase where effort paid off emotionally, not just financially, where the background anxiety softened, where money stopped occupying so much mental space. Instead, the feeling followed you. So you assume the problem must be the number. Maybe it's still not enough. Maybe comfort lives one level higher. One more raise, one better month, one more milestone, and then, finally, you'll relax. That assumption feels logical. Almost everyone believes it. But here's the quiet truth most people never question. Earning more doesn't automatically change how you feel about money. Most people think feeling poor comes from not having enough money, but that feeling rarely disappears just because income increases. What you're experiencing isn't a failure of effort or ambition. It's a misunderstanding of what that feeling actually is. The deeper problem isn't income. It's that your sense of safety has been tied to a number that was never designed to provide emotional stability. Money has slowly become the place where you look for reassurance, for certainty, for proof that you're doing okay. And money is very unreliable at giving those things consistently. We're taught, subtly, repeatedly, that higher income equals peace, that once you cross a certain threshold, anxiety fades and confidence appears. But that belief ignores how human psychology actually works. Security is a feeling, not a figure, and feelings don't scale with income. When you earn more, your life doesn't simply expand. Your expectations recalibrate. Your nervous system updates what normal looks like. What once felt abundant becomes ordinary. What once felt optional begins to feel required. This isn't greed, it's adaptation. Your mind is built to normalize improvement quickly. That's how humans survive change. But financially, it creates a problem, because the relief you expect from earning more disappears faster than you planned. You didn't just earn more money, you became someone who earns more money, and that identity comes with invisible pressure. There's pressure to maintain, pressure to not fall back, pressure to justify where you are, and with that pressure comes a new kind of anxiety, not the fear of not having enough, but the fear of losing what you now have. Lower income often comes with a strange simplicity. There's less to protect, less to preserve. As income rises, so does the mental weight of maintenance.
So even as your bank balance grows, your sense of vulnerability can grow with it. Your mind starts running quieter calculations. What if this doesn't last? What if I can't keep up this pace? What if one mistake undoes everything? These thoughts don't always show up as words. They show up as tension, as restlessness, as that persistent feeling of still being poor even when you're objectively not. This is why people at very different income levels can feel the same financial stress. They're not reacting to money, they're reacting to uncertainty, comparison, and identity pressure. Comparison becomes sharper as you earn more, not because you changed, but because your reference point did. Your environment shifts, your peers change. What once felt like success now feels average. Progress feels smaller because the measuring stick moved. And since humans measure well-being relatively, not absolutely, satisfaction erodes quietly. Another trap is believing money should remove discomfort. So when discomfort remains, you assume something is wrong, either with you or with how much you earn. This keeps you chasing income not to build a life, but to silence a feeling. And feelings don't respond well to chasing. There's often emotional residue underneath all of this. If you spent years feeling financially unsafe, your nervous system learned that money equals danger. Earning more doesn't automatically rewrite that conditioning. In fact, it can amplify it. More money means more responsibility, more decisions, more ways to fail. So you may be financially ahead, but psychologically braced for impact. This is why some people never feel rich, no matter how much they earn. They're not living in their current financial reality. They're living inside an old internal memory of instability. The mistake is believing you can out-earn that memory. You can't resolve a psychological pattern with a numerical goal. The shift begins when you separate income from identity, when money stops being proof of worth, intelligence, or safety. As long as your self-image depends on your income, every fluctuation will feel personal. Stability doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less emotional reassurance from money. Another shift is learning to measure progress differently, not by upgrades or appearances, but by reduced fear. Are decisions calmer? Are emergencies less emotionally catastrophic? Do you trust yourself more than you did before? These are signs of real wealth. And perhaps the most uncomfortable realization is this: financial peace doesn't come from eliminating uncertainty. It comes from trusting yourself within it. When you believe you can adapt, recover, and respond, money stops carrying the entire burden of safety. It becomes a tool again, not a shield. Instead of asking, how much more do I need to finally relax, a better question is, what am I afraid will happen if this stops? That question often reveals that the fear isn't really about money at all. When you address that, something changes. The same income starts to feel different. Not because the number changed, but because your relationship to it did. Feeling rich isn't about excess. It's about sufficiency without tension, about having enough and trusting yourself enough to stop scanning for collapse. If earning more didn't fix it, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you discovered a truth most people never slow down enough to see. Money can improve circumstances, but only understanding your psychology changes how safe you feel inside them.